slowly drifting, a vagabond. Today we're covering the song I Thank God, and if you're looking for some energy, this is the song for you. It is fast at 130 beats per minute, and especially with the full band, it just builds with a lot of energy. So we'll cover your left hand, some different capo options you can use with this song, as well as your right hand and a strum pattern that'll help you keep up with how fast the song goes. So let's take a look at it as a whole with this chart that you can download for free. Just check out the link in the description box. And if this charting method looks kind of unique or different to you, this is a style of what studio musicians in Nashville use that's based off the Nashville number system. I have a full course on that, as well as full courses with beginner guitar lessons, intermediate, electric, advanced. You can check all of those out for $1 on my site. So as you download the chart, check that out, how to become a member for just $1, and you can explore all of that. But this will help you get a feel for the song as a whole. So let's take a look at it. And you can see we're using the C chord family for this song. It's actually in the key of D flat, which is the same thing as C sharp. So what this capo is doing is moving everything in C up 1/2 step. That's what the capo does. So it essentially makes a C into a C sharp or a D flat. There are other options which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's what you can do. That's what we're going to focus on for this lesson is the C chord family. So you can get some practice with that. And it'll also help you with the little lick that you hear in the intro and some in the verse as well. You can see some of the chords. There's lots of different groupings of chords because this, again, the song happens so quickly. You can't have too many chord switches. But most of the regular C chord family chords are in there, like C, A minor, G, F. Now there's a few different ways to play F, which we'll cover when we cover the left hand and chord shapes. But still taking a look at the chart as a whole, really the only tricky part is at the end of the chorus, there is a stop. So on the F, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that little filled in triangle means you'll stop when it's marked, which will be on the third beat of that measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives you a little bit of an effect that you can use in your own songwriting if you want to, and that's how you notate it using the system. Most of the rest is pretty easy. You're just following the chords, you're following the repeats, and that just means go back to the section you just played. So it's pretty straightforward as far as song structure and chord structure. So now that we have a decent idea of the song, let's start with your left hand and different ways to play the song. So again, I'm C sharp using C capo 1, but there are a few other things you can do. Now if you're playing with another guitar player, one thing to do is capo up much higher so you get a different sound. And you'll see this too, a lot of people like G, the G chord family. So if you'd like to play that, your C sharp way up higher on the neck is actually on 5/7 on the 9th fret. So your capo is going to go on the 6th fret. So capo 6. You can get some nice high chords. It almost starts to sound like a mandolin just a little bit. So this is a really good option if you want to, capo 6 using the G chord family. And again, in the Nashville number system course, you'll learn how to transpose and what the numbers mean to go from one key to another. I also covered that in my intermediate course, more on capos there. So that's probably the best option if you want an easier option or you just want something different with your capo. We're going to go back to capo 1 using C. What's nice about this is you have some nice open sounding chords, and you can do the intro lick really easily with your pinky finger. So hopefully you know most of the C chord family chords like C. F, there's a few different ways to play this, of course. A lot of people struggle with the bar chord. So one option for that is a C sus. Probably the easiest way to play or to kind of cheat a little bit with an F and still have an open sound. And if you can, you'll see me do this, but I'll reach my thumb around to get that F bass note on the 1st fret combined with that C sus. It's a really pretty chord. It's very open. and works with, instead of a traditional bar chord, it opens it up a little bit. Some of your other chords you'll see A minor, G. Now the key of C is the only time where I play kind of an open G. I normally play G with my pinky and ring on the bottom. But in the case of C, it actually sounds a little better to my ear to leave that second string open. If you want to add something to it, you can add the note that you use for C in that G chord. Let's see what other chords we have. D minor and C over E. So D minor, nothing fancy there. You can just use your D minor. C over E is a slash chord. All that means, it's actually an easy one. You have the C chord with an E as the bass note. So if you see a C over E, just play your C chord and add the E bass note. So that'll get your left hand set for the chords. Now let's talk about your right hand and strumming. Again, this song is really fast. So the easiest way to keep up with the song is just focus on down strums, downstrokes, and don't worry about your ups at first. And if you just play eighth notes as you count out the measures, the beats in the measure, that'll be the easiest way to keep up with the song. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it'll sound pretty good too. Just downstrokes, counting eighth notes. Keep them really short. You don't want full strums because that'll be too much to come back to your position. You just want little flicks on maybe 2 or 3 strings even will be fine. Now if you want to match the song's feel a little bit better, you can add in some upstrokes as well. It's a little more difficult, but it may match a little better. It'll sound like this. So what I'm doing there is down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. It's kind of confusing, so I would slow it down just so you can hear it. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up. Again, I know that might feel a little bit weird. It's kind of an odd timing, but you're still playing your downstrokes, your eighth notes. You're just adding in some ups in between to kind of match, again, the rhythm, the feel of the song. But if you get lost, or if you're a beginner, just give it 1 strum per chord to get used to all your switches. And then if you can, keep up with the song, work your way into eighth notes. If that feels too fast, you can always back off to quarter notes, which is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's totally fine as well. So now let's talk about the kind of the signature lick of the song that you'll hear in the intro. It sounds like. It's really simple, but it does add to the sound and it kind of helps identify the song. So the way to play that is a C chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then here it'll happen as a C sus. Next stroke is a C. And same thing, C sus. And then off. The easiest way to catch the rhythm of it is just to hear it, listen to it, and try to repeat it with downstrokes. It is a little bit syncopated. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, bum, 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 bum. On, off, on, off. On, off, on, off. So bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. And if you're capoed, what did we say, 6? The way to do that is to play a G chord, and then have your middle finger come down for that C shape. And just keep that pointer finger where it is. Your on, off can work in the G shape as well. Or if you want an even higher sound, if you have a G open or the strings are open, you can have your pinky on the bottom on the 3rd, and then right above it, that B will be open, on, off, with your pointer finger on the 1st. So maybe play the bottom 3 strings. So those are a few options depending on where you're playing with your capo to work in that signature lick. You can, of course, play it in the intro, and you could even work it into the verses if you want in between the verses at the beginning. So we've covered your left hand some capo options, your right hand some strumming options, so that should get you started with the song I Thank God.